Why, hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of.
Splash that cash!
I hope you all are having a wonderful day and crushing the games, getting better every day that you're watching the videos, and remember to subscribe and comment and like below. We are playing a 50 cent dollar pot limit Omaha high game. I have a couple other games off on the side, which you will not be seeing. However, we are going to concentrate on this one right in front of you, and I'm going to try and give you the best walkthrough of each hand. Um, so in this game, we are all very, very, very deep. 08er is the shortest stack with 76 bigs, and he's sitting out at the moment. So the player to my left, 270 bigs. Player to my right, 246. This leaves a lot of room to be three betting light, which is great for my game. Like spots like this, he's just, I mean, leaving it wide open. Taking position, ace three seven four, terrible hand, but um, there's just so many ways I can win the pot when he's out of position. I get four bet, which is even better, I think. Um, we're gonna just be playing a large pot in position here. I have the ace of clubs, which helps. He's four betting. Ooh, and he just pots. Um, Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Uh, Raising, I think, is a horrible play. I think it's out of the question because a lot of the times he does have a king with an ace and would never fold. Floating might be okay, but I'm just going to give it up. Uh, Floating, playing clubs, or bluffing turns where he gives up is fine, I think. But given that he potted right into me, it just kind of like solidifies his range a little bit more. Because if he had just aces in that spot, because I had the ace of clubs, he wouldn't just. It just doesn't make sense for him to be potting there. So it's almost like he had air or he did have a king. And the problem is if he does have a king, that pot's going to get so big and I'm going to have to bluff at it. And I just feel like he is actually going to have a king there a lot of the time with his four bet range pre. It's going to be hands like ace king jack 10, ace ace king something, king queen jack 10, those kind of types of hands. He's going to have quite a bit. So it's not too nitty of a fold on a king board. I think there is a little bit of merit to saying to floating in that spot, but never. I would never be raising. That's just I think would be throwing money away for sure. So we're gonna try and take another three bet pot in position. You're gonna be seeing me probably three betting and playing a lot of pots like this in position and just seeing if 4-1 dog kind of like spews off against me, just getting frustrated like fuck this guy. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. I'm trying to get the fuck this guy response from him, which is definitely possible. So I flop top two with a flush draw and backdoor straight draws. I'm liking my hand right now. I'm going to be betting. I think two-thirds pot is probably correct. I mean, you could even full pot. I think half pot's pretty horrible. I'm not looking forward to seeing a club if I do get called. That would be the most unfortunate thing. Because if you think about their hand range, if they do call a flop like this, it's never going to be sets when I have every pair, and they're not probably not just going to call with a set on a board like that. And then I have the ace blocker, so chances are if they do call in a spot like that, they are going to have a straight or flush draw, and having the seven high flush, where the majority of their range is a higher flush draw, it's just never a good thing. If a club comes, I would never be value betting it, unless if the straight card came too, and then they checked over to me, then maybe. But you have to be really careful in those spots. So, I mean. Yeah, result was good, won the pot, but I think getting a call or two would have definitely been a lot better in that spot. I was definitely hoping for some action. It'd be straight. It's really strange with hands like that when you get raised because um, they just generally have you beat, and you have so much going on that you're like, fuck, I can't fold. I have so much going on. But because of my three bet, they're gonna put me on a pretty strong hand there as well. So they're not gonna be they're not gonna be raising very light in that spot ever. They're playing the big $5.51 pot. And no value bet from the runner diamonds. Wow, that's pretty bad. Waiter didn't value bet that, huh? I think I would have 100% of the time. Um, yeah, we'll just keep playing pots for you guys. See, see what happens. See what we can do. Um, not a good hand. Or not great. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of 4-1 dog. Are you gonna three bet? Oh, I thought he was gonna three bet. You can hide the hand strength of like the 8 4 10 6 because they just would never think of the times where it does come like 5 7 3 and shit like that. They just wouldn't put you on that range, so it's okay. Um, Four-way pot. I'm not gonna stab at this. If it makes it to the turn, I might stab. So that's a pretty good turn card. I'm gonna have to double barrel. Okay, so 08er bets $3. The majority of hands that he's doing this with. Okay, and a call. I still think it's okay to raise. But if I do raise, it would have to be like believable, like $9 or something like that. I'm going to give it up. I think raising here to like $9 would have been actually pretty good, but then the King of Hearts came and that would have really screwed my plan over. Um, if you think about the majority of hands that 08er is betting $3 on the turn with, it's not going to be super strong. And 4-1 dog had already called. So I'm putting both of them on like two pair type hands or maybe a bad flush. And then in a four-way pot, getting value raised by me would have just looked so strong. And that's why I think it would have been an okay line, only because of how strong it really would have looked. Um, because when you're playing poker, you have to think of your what you look like to them. What are you representing to them? Put yourself in their shoes. Pretend that you're playing their hand and what happens, and that's pretty much the best way to adjust in most games these days. Is not only understand your hand strength, but your perceived hand strength and kind of where what would they think you have in your spot. Um, because you can always just go, by value of your own hand, and you can be like, I have a shitty hand fold, or I have a good hand bet. Um, but if you're thinking in their shoes, saying if 08er is thinking of my hand and saying, okay, what does he have here majority of the time when he does that, and you're able to readjust to that thinking, you're gonna find yourself doing a lot better. You're going to find yourself value betting in spots where you never would have value bet before because what'll happen is you'll understand that it looks like a bluff on your spot when in actuality you're like value betting middle pair, knowing that he's going to be putting you on a bluff, kind of stuff. So I mean it gets a little bit confusing, but that would be third level thinking, and then it can keep going. You can get to fourth level thinking, which is um, he knows he knows what I'm doing, so I readjust to him, and then he readjusts to the readjustment, and that's when you get in a huge leveling war, and it gets pretty confusing. I would, but you can also out level yourself, which is actually one of the biggest mistakes with a couple of the people that I'm working with. They seem to outlevel themselves a little too much, which can get them in a lot of trouble. Sometimes you